Hey everyone, I wanted to do a quick message for us ladies and women out there to make sure we are uplifting each other, we're growing, evolving, and we are coming from a higher perspective. We are coming from high vibes and good energy with showing up for ourselves and for others in our life and for the world. We want to make sure that when we say that we're loving and we say that we're kind, that we're really being loving and we're really being kind, and that our perspective is coming from that place. We can't say we're being kind one minute and then we are lashing out another. So women have to learn how to master emotions. That's women's biggest lesson when we're here on earth, is mastering our emotions, because that is more of feminine energy. And we could be, have masculine energy too. And masculine energy, men have to learn, their biggest lesson is pride. So you might have to learn a little bit about pride. But women's biggest lesson is learning how to master our emotions and not letting our emotions, our experiences, define who we are. So if we've had an ex-boyfriend, an ex-partner, ex-husband, whatever it is, and they have betrayed, cheated, lied, they have all these, bad things that happened to you, and they did it to you, okay? That's okay. I want you to learn from that. I want you to say, what did that teach you? We don't want to be hateful towards that person or mean. We want to learn how to dissolve those feelings and dissolve that pain so that we're not showing up with pain and lashing out and spreading that energy, because that's not spreading good energy. So if you're still holding pain and heartache, resentment, any bad feelings about your exes, about your ex-partner, if it's one or multiple, learn how to dissolve that. Learn how to let go of the victim mode and the victim mindset. It didn't happen to you, it happened for you. Everything is happening for you to level up, upgrade, and become a better person. If they were a bad person to you, you don't want to show up bad like them, even if it's in a different form. You may not be a cheater, but you're not being kind, you're a mean person, because you're in a victim mindset about what has happened to you, what that person did to you. So no matter if it's an experience, a relationship, we don't want it to define us anymore on how we show up and how we think and feel within our own life and others. No matter what anybody has done to us, let it go and be a better person. Don't absorb their energy, and you might have on accident and not even been aware of it. A lot of people do that. They subconsciously absorb their mindset and forget to release it, and then they're showing up like that. It's just in a different form. They might really be a kind person, but they have absorbed all that bad energy, and they're showing up with that pain and that lower vibration. It's just in a different way. They may not be cheating or betraying, but they're showing up, in a mean, hateful way because they're in pain. Does that make sense? So we want to make sure that we are controlling the way that we think and feel. That's the only thing that we can control, is the way that we think and feel. We can't control others. We can't control our ex-partner on what they did and how they showed up. If they didn't show up how you thought that they should show up, that's all right. That's not your business. Your responsibility and your job is to learn how to stay in your own lane and allow others to live their journey and learn their lessons on whatever time frame that they want. If they don't want to learn how to be a better person, that's fine, but you learn how to be. You learn how to show up better. You don't want to point fingers and blame and judge your ex or an experience, whatever it is, a person, for the way that you feel, because you can't control the way you think and feel and dissolve that pain on your own. You have full power to show up the way you want to think and feel. Just because you think you're a good person and you're a kind person doesn't mean your energy is actually kind. Just because you say you're a loving person doesn't mean you're an actually loving person. So we want to be aware and be conscious of what lessons we do need to learn as women and ladies on how to show up as the best version of ourselves and not let our emotions run us. I see a lot of behaviors out there that, women will be, I'm like this certain person and I'm perfect or I'm kind, and, they're always this type of person, and then they're always putting their ex-partner down. They're always saying, well, that's what they did, or this is what happened to me in the past. They're bringing in their past, or, there's all kinds of energy that they're bringing into the table. And we don't want to do that. We want to let go of our past and fully be present with the person that we're trying to be present with, and use discernment. Use your intuition. You need to learn how to trust yourself and make better choices and decisions on who you allow in your energy. That's nobody's fault but your own. Nobody's choice but your own. And when you start thinking like that, you feel so much relief. You feel so much more empowered because you're like, oh, my emotions aren't running me anymore. People ain't running me anymore. Experiences, results, outcomes, none of that's running in me anymore, because I'm fully aware of how to balance my energy and how to keep my vibes high and how to show up and walk the walk. If I say something, I'm going to be that person. If I say I'm a kind person, I'm going to be kind. So when my ex comes in on scene, I'm going to love that experience and him for the good and the bad, or her if you have a girl. But we're going to love that partner, that ex, that relationship in our past. We're going to love the good and the bad. And we're going to be thankful and appreciate the lessons and what it taught us in life to level up and upgrade, because that is our opportunity to be better, to not absorb people's mindsets, and to fully show up in alignment as ourselves, as our true selves. So if we are a kind person, be a kind person. And if you have to dissolve and alter and transform, that's okay. That's all right, no judgment. But as a spiritual leader, and when I'm teaching my clients and I'm teaching others, I'm always telling them, a lot of people say things, but always read their energy. You want to make sure your energy is on point. A lot of people say things, but they are not that person. A lot of people show up in one form, but your intuition might be, going off because their energy's off. There's something off with them. And it just might be they're on a lower vibration. They're just not in alignment with you. You have to be able to read other people's energy and read your own. But you don't want to absorb people's mindsets. You want to learn how to stay in your own vibration, stay in your own truth, in your own realness, and learn how to master that, because you can get sucked into the noise, to the outside world, to the heartache, the pain, the physical reality you can get sucked into. And we don't want that to run us anymore. Our experiences, our relationships, none of that. We love the good and the bad. We appreciate what they taught us. We know they're learning lessons too. A lot of men, they're immature, okay? And a lot of women, we see things differently. That's okay. We don't judge them. We just try to uplift them and talk to them in a kind way about it, the best way that we can. But we don't have to show up mean and be hateful because they caused us pain. You can control your pain. You can control your pain with the choices that you make and the way that you think and feel. It has nothing to do with anybody else. Okay? And that's when you take fully back control of your life, and to be a great woman, to be a great lady, to be a great person showing up as the person that you really want to show up as. Okay? And if you are in alignment and you're learning about other people like that, and you're learning about women like that, this is good lessons for you. We don't judge women for that. We want to help uplift them and help shift their perspective. It's easy for us to judge people, that are, not in alignment, especially when we're in alignment. It's easy for me to, say, oh, those people are level 1. Those people are a little slow. Or that woman, she says she's kind, but she makes my stomach hurt. Okay? So Instead of judging them, I'm observing. So we're observing and learning about people and how they're showing up so that we can be better. So if they don't want to change, that's okay. If you want to, I know you obviously are trying to transform and change if you're listening to this video. So you want to be the best version of yourself. Some people don't. And you have to allow them to be that person and to be whatever they want, because they're learning that for their journey and their destiny too. Okay? So there are both sides of this. We want to make sure we're showing up the way that we want, the way that we say. If we are a loving person, be in that perspective of a loving person, see things on a higher perspective, and see both sides. If you're one-sided, that means you're lower perspective to me. If you're taking sides and you're pointing fingers, you're in a lower perspective. Raise above, see why things are the way they are, and look at both perspectives and both parties and journeys. It gives you lightness, gives you relief, and it gives you the sense of peace that you're looking for. And when you look back at your relationships and your experiences, if you have a peaceful feeling, you know you have transmuted it, dissolved, and you're balanced and you're in alignment with your high vibrational true self. That's your goal. You want to be in alignment with that higher self and with your true self. Okay, that is your goal. And we all have to dissolve that pain and that heartache and those bad thoughts that we have. Okay, we have human thoughts, it's okay, but we don't act upon them. We are advanced people here, so we show up, we take care of our stuff, and we dissolve it. We take accountability. That doesn't mean that we don't have discernment for other people's behaviors and actions. We don't condone it, but we don't have to show up hateful and mean. And we know how to show up in a higher perspective and in a light mode, because that actually helps people and lifts the vibration. Being hateful and mean doesn't, just because you're in pain. So we realize to take full accountability, because we are being advanced women in here, and we're learning how to be the best version of ourselves so we can show up awesome for us and awesome for everybody else. And if you're single, then you'll get a better relationship. You'll be aligning with someone that has a better mindset, a better mentality. So we always want to use discernment of how we think and feel, and about how others are, how they're saying that they are, and how they really, really are. Okay? We always want to use discernment and use all of this as a teacher and lessons for us to learn and grow. But stay in our own lane. We don't need to call everybody else out. We can observe, but we don't need to call them out and be hateful and mean. We need to show up, uplift, and be in a higher perspective for ourselves and others. And you will feel so much peace within. Okay? Love the good and the bad. There's reasons for everything, but it was there to help you level up and grow. Appreciate it. I hope you love this message today. Stay light, loving, and at peace, and in your high vibe mode, and you'll be a really great woman. And take pride in that. Okay, that's something to take pride in. Have the best day.